Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new hardware review today with a mouse. This is the Trust GXT 170 RGB Gaming Mouse because everything has RGB in it apart from me currently. I'm working on it. I should have some results soon. This is sort of the little brother of the GXT 188 Laban, which we had done the review 2 weeks ago. It's a similar kind of mouse in the sense that it's RGB and it's made for gaming, but it is in every other aspect quite a different mouse. For example, it uses a different sensor. It's optical, not well. Laser is optical. I mean, they're both optical means of. It's a laser instead. It's visible. It's visible. That's the main difference. Also, it has only 7,000 dpi. But we'll get to that in the review. I like to thank the people at Press for sending me this mouse, and well, this one and the other stuff they sent over the years, over the year. And let's get to the final and actual review of this thing. In terms of design, the Heron mouse is a bit different when compared to the Laban. For one, it looks a bit more unified in its design. Even though it's made to be used by right-handed people, when you look at it, it sort of feels like it actually has an ambidextrous design, and I now look like the Terminator for some reason because the mouse is actually on. And, oh yeah, I'm gonna get to this in a moment. But the design lends itself to actually a very comfortable using experience. Like, I've had no problems with pain. I had no problems with it being uncomfortable like I did with the Laban one. It's a really nice mouse in terms of like the shape. It works, and also it can. You can stab yourself in the eye if you have some. Okay, technically you could stab a child in the eyes with this, but I don't recommend you do it. I don't think Trust recommends you do it either. But it can double as a weapon because it is kind of sharp. Like this bit here especially, this is quite sharp. So yeah, in a zombie apocalypse, it could be useful, just saying it. Though, I don't think it's resilient enough to actually crack open a zombie skull with it. But hey, if you have enough force, maybe you can do a lot of things with it. It's made out of plastic, like there's no rubber on it. Well, there's the Teflon-ish pads on the back, but no, there's no other materials in terms of the surface grippiness, and I don't think they actually advertise any other materials like they did on the Laban. The Laban said it had rubber on it, and it didn't. Well, yeah, okay, again, my bad. The wheel does have rubber on it. Yeah, that I cannot deny. That's where the rubber is. Instead of, well, adherence or you know, the texture kind of plastic or rubberized rubber texture on the sides, it has a bit of a porous aspect to it. Like, it's similar in a way to the other Trust mouse that we had for review. I forget the name of it. I think it may have been the 180. I'm not sure. It has a different kind of porous structure on the sides, but it is somewhat less pronounced, so you can still feel it. Like, it's sort of a sandpapery, a smooth sandpaper, if that makes any sense. It's a smooth sandpapery kind of feel, but it hasn't worn out in the 2 weeks I've been using it, so it's a bit of a step up from the material that the previous Trust mouse we reviewed that had that kind of material. The top of it isn't porous. It's a lot smoother. It feels actually kind of nice. You also have these well, striations from the you know, the RGB thing, the RGB lighting, so you will have sort of room to breathe if you want. I haven't had any problems with my hands sweating on this or being too hot or anything like that. And mind you, we are currently in a heat wave. It's Satan is walking out in his underwear degrees outside, so it's quite hot, and I haven't had any problem using this mouse. In terms of buttons, again, it has side buttons. I always like the side buttons. I can't say that they're the best I've ever seen. Like, they're a bit maybe too close together and not superbly well defined, but they do work well enough. Like, I haven't had issues with them. Confusion can occur, but you will train yourself to actually learn how to delimit between them, even though the separation between these two buttons is quite small. One thing I would have liked to see is a twin button combo for the DPI switch, like the Laban has. You only have one that cycles from all the DPI settings you have, but I'll get to DPI itself in a moment. And the wheel is a standard wheel. You sort of get the feeling that since this bit is open, it'll be one of those wheels that just lets you roll, kick it once and it'll roll infinitely, but no, it's not that kind of wheel. I kind of wish I had a mouse with that kind of wheel. I mean, the one thing that I do miss from the horrible Mad Catz mouse is that you could set the wheel to be as tight or as loose as you wanted to. That was actually a good thing. The cable itself is not braided or anything. It's a fine cable. It stretches about 1.8 meters. I don't think I've ever commented on the length of the cable before. No, wait, the only time I have commented was on the Hori one from the Tactical Advanced Command Center thing. That's it has a really short cable for the mouse because it's made to be used with that keyboard thing. Yeah, that would be it in terms of aspect. It's a fine shape. Like, I like it. It sort of looks. It reminds me a bit of the one of those cars from Roll Cage or from the new Grip game. They sort of look like. This looks like it will attack you. It's a very, very aggressive shape. I like it. And yeah, the RGB. Let's get to the RGB. It says that it can do 16.8 million colors. Not sure about it. I mean, the Laban, yeah, the Laban can. Like, I have no doubt. Like, the Laban has some of the most beautiful LEDs I've ever seen in a mouse or in an RGB thing ever. It can render colors beautifully. This one doesn't have LEDs that can render multiple colors. It has individual LEDs for each color. And I know that because red is broken. The red LED, like you can see in the background now too, on this portion is broken. So when I set red here, it will not show anything. When I set purple here, it will just display blue. So we're seeing now in the background that there is a bit where this part is blue and this part is purple. This whole bit should be purple. So that has individual LEDs that theoretically could render out 16 million colors, but practically they don't have that kind of finesse. I mean, compared to the clarity and just sheer beauty of this thing, no, it doesn't look like it could render out all those colors they're saying. It just doesn't seem like it can. It can do approximations of them, yeah, true, but not really that much. Well, it looks nice, yeah, but God, this just looked amazing by comparison. There's three regions of mice color that you can customize. There's the bottom one, which I now put as red, the middle one, which is yellow, and the top one, which is blue, like the the flag of Romania, and not green, because if I put green, the background would have gone crazy. Though this yellow does look a bit greeny, so I may have to sabotage myself on that one anyway. The RGB, the thing I like about it is that, well, it has this. See? It has a proximity sensor. The old mouse I used to have, the cat one, the one with, I keep forgetting its name. It had a look of a cat. Okay, I forgot what it was. The one I reviewed last year, I think. That one did not have this kind of property. That one would actually remain active and lit even though the PC was turned off. It was annoying, but this one can save on energy and it will only light up if you put your hand on it. But you can disable this in the driver and whatever in the software that comes with, and you can have it light up whenever you want to. You can have it cycle colors. You can have it cycle colors depending on how fast you click on it. You can actually do quite a lot of things with it. Well, maybe not. It doesn't have a how should I put it? It doesn't have like multiple. Oh, sorry, I hit the mouse. It doesn't have multiple ways of cycling colors depending on speed, depending on I don't know, individual colors that you may want them to appear. It's a bit more simplified than the Laban, but more complex in other ways. It's a different kind of implementation. It's nice enough for RGB. I mean, the basic point of RGB is that it's pointless, but it does have one unique feature. Like, just as the Laban one, if you click on the DPI setting, it will switch the colors depending on what the setting is. And mind you, this doesn't have just the 5 DPI stages. This has 7. But unfortunately, you cannot customize individual DPI settings. You cannot choose to change the vertical axis and the horizontal axis. You have a bunch of predefined settings that go from 500 to 7000. They at first go from increments of 250, then they go through increments of 500, and then they go to increments of 1000 in the last bit. And that's the only way you can actually find the DPI settings. You can set about a maximum of 7 steps steps. You can have a minimum of how many you want them to be, at a minimum 1, for example. I have 3 because I use basically just these 3. And like I said, the maximum DPI is 7000. Now here's the bit that I'm a bit confused about. I don't know what the sensor is. Like, I have no idea. The site says that it is an Avago 5110. That's not a sensor. That is a lens for a sensor that is made by Avago, for many sensors made by Avago. It's also obsolete, meaning that it's not being currently produced or used. So I only know what the lens is. I have no idea what the sensor is, but according to the data sent by, well, that's published by Trust on their website, this has an acceleration of 20 Gs, which is again less than the Laban, and a tracking speed of 80 IPS, which is again less than the Laban. Mice, by the way, are kind of complicated when you get right down to it. I mean, DPI doesn't tell you much. It tells you how fast it can move if you move the mouse just a bit. But the acceleration and the tracking speed are also important. And, well, it's not as a high end of a model compared to the Laban one, because again, this is just optical, like you can see the beam, and that one is laser. But it still behaves well enough. I mean, from what I've used it so far, I've used it in a lot of games, especially Rainbow Six Siege. It's been nice using it. I haven't had any issues with it. But again, if you're a super duper pro competitive person that uses a DPI of 0 or 0.1 to move mice because you're quick scoping in Counter-Strike at an ESL competitive event, I don't know, you may have issues with it, I don't know. I'm not that kind of person. I mostly play games because I enjoy them. And not being able to actually figure out what the sensor is kind of makes it impossible for me to know if it actually reaches 7000 DPI through what the sensor can actually do, or is it through magic? You know, the software kerfuffle, the software obfuscation and interpolation that takes what would normally be a lower DPI maximum setting to something greater. And I think it actually uses that because optical mice tend to have sub 5000 DPI often. They sometimes have even less than 4000, but 7000, I've seen it sometimes being described as an HD optical sensor, even though no one said the exact specifications of it or what the name was. So maybe it can go to 7000 natively? I have no clue, but still it behaves okay at basically every DPI. I haven't had issues with it having, you know, jittering or fluffering or whatever you want to call it, but again, I don't have the proper equipment to accurately measure this kind of thing to the micrometer. I saw a post by SteelSeries on their Facebook page that they made it sort of a test that shows that only their mouse doesn't have that kind of jittering and fluffering and puppering, but I don't know what they used or to what degree they actually measure, because if you're measuring at a micrometer or a nanometer, yeah, that doesn't really matter. Like, for most people, it won't matter. For most gamers, it won't matter. I mean, it won't just matter. It mostly doesn't, unless you're competitive and really want a one-by-one precision, like with minute detail, like micrometer detail. If you have space on your desk to basically use it as a 1.1 representation of your screen, yeah, maybe you would have issues with there being some sort of fluctuation. Not that I found any, but again, I'm not one of those people that uses 7000 dpi constantly because I don't need to. I only have 2 1080p screens, not 2 8K screens. Also, this sensor supports variable lift distance, meaning you can get the mouse to be to respond differently depending on the position it is. You can set the lift distance to be high or low, or anywhere between high and low. It's not really all that, how should I put it, not very scientific, but I measured it using the thickness of this USB adapter for an SD card. See, it can go from a little bit less than the thickness of this. So if you raise the mouse to a little bit less than the thickness of this, it will still register on the ground. Or it can go from a little bit over this, over the thickness of this, to where it can still register the input. So if you have the habit of moving your mouse like this to move like this bit on a screen, and you may need to raise it and lower it constantly, so that setting may be useful to you. Again, it's a setting that I found that was in the sensor of the Laban, but it wasn't exposed in the software. And this one, well, it's exposed in the software, and maybe it's on the sensor as well. Speaking of the software, they added something unexpected with this. This mouse has achievements. Now, I'm not joking, it has achievements. Depending on how much you use it, you'll get a trophy, you'll get a rank. I believe I'm captain now or something. And it will track every click you do, every mouse movement. It'll keep a record of it, just so you can brag that you clicked 1 billion times. I also noticed that I tend to click about 10 more times using left click than all the other ones, which kind of makes sense because we use all the other ones less than left click. Quite a lot less, amazingly less, but they're still very, very useful, very important. Oh, by the way, the polling rate does go up to 1000 Hertz, and I haven't had any issues with it. Even when I didn't even have to restart the computer to get it to register at 1000 like I did with the Laban. But I haven't changed the USB ports either, so I don't know it has the same issue that the Laban one had, that it forgot what the polling rate was when you switched the USB port. Well, I can't really see much left on the script. Not that I have a script, I just have a list of ideas that I should talk about. It's a fine mouse. Oh yeah, software, macros. You can set macros, and again the lighting and the accuracy and speed and the things. It's a competent enough made software interface for it. You can set a lot of things in it, and it's nice. Again, it has achievements. It's a thing now. The mouse comes with achievements. I look forward to my graphics card getting achievements in an update. Hopefully one that will make Relive actually work. So AMD, make Relive work, please. But yeah, this would be about it for the review of the Trust GXT 170 Heron mouse. It's a good mouse. It's good, it's solid, and it costs, well, depending on where you find it, it'll cost between 40 and 60 euros. Now that's a big delta. Like that is and it wasn't on sale. Like it's available in my country for around 40 euros, but I've seen it in other places for 60. It's kind of hard for me to actually get where the pricing is, which is kind of annoying, because it should be cheaper than this. But in some places I found this for 60, which is the same as this. In other places this was 40 and not on sale. It was 40 and this was 50. It's bizarre. It's bizarre, that's all I can say. But yeah, it's an okay mouse. I have really nothing bad to say about it except for the fact that the red LED on the left click broke. I don't know if it was... You should probably look on the background and see if it was broken in one of the older videos I shot last week. Maybe I broke it in the meantime by clicking instantly on the left click, and I don't know. I haven't dropped it, so I can't vouch for resistance because I tend to not drop these on purpose. Maybe I should start doing it, but then they have to send me a spare, which they probably won't because I dropped the other one. Yeah, who knows. I'll be back soon with a review of... oh boy, oh yeah, a review of these. The Hebe headset. I'm gonna actually do a review next week, so we'll be hardware reviews back to back for one, because I don't want to delay reviews that I have, like hardware I have up until October. It would be kind of silly. So after that we'll have another gaming culture with other stuff. Yeah, the mouse is okay, it's fine. Haven't had any issues with it, and it's not been a pain to use it, which is always a bonus when it comes to gaming mice. Well, that'll be it. See you again soon. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. I don't know exactly when this airs, but hey, goodbye.